Time Warner Cable is pleased to be an underwriting sponsor for Carolina Week. From the James F. Goodman Studio in the School of Journalism and Mass Communication at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill, connecting campus and community, this is Carolina Week.
Hello and welcome to this special edition of Carolina Week. I'm Jason Kahn.
And I'm Carly Swain. Let's take a look back at some of the memorable moments of fall 2008 here at UNC. President-elect Barack Obama has already handpicked his cabinet, but it wasn't too long ago when our nation was preparing for a nail-biting election. The 2008 Republican vice presidential candidate, Governor Sarah Palin, rallied her supporters in Raleigh for an 11th-hour push to win North Carolina. Gervais Hagerty was there.
Drill, baby, drill! Republican Party faithful gathered to drum up support in the last days leading up to the election. Heavy hitters from across the country have flown in to try to win our hearts and our votes. Republican vice presidential candidate Sarah Palin drew thousands to her rally Saturday night. Supporters formed giant lines that snaked around the Raleigh State Fairgrounds. They waited hours to hear her speak.
I just wanted to show some support. I had no idea this many Republicans were in North Carolina, so I'm very happy about that. I have been a huge McCain-Palin supporter from the beginning and just wanted to show my encouragement.
Armed with posters, pom-poms, and pins, the crowd called for her to come on stage. And it makes sense for Palin to speak directly to the people here, because for the first time in 30 years, North Carolina is a swing state. During her 20-minute speech, Palin spoke about many issues, but for some supporters, it's mostly about one.
As a mother of 4 kids, that's probably the most un-Catholic. And, we believe very strongly in no abortion, and the fact that Barack Obama supports partial birth abortions is the main factor.
Alan and her kids were part of the spillover crowd along with UNC college Republicans.
It wasn't quite as good as being in there, but
yeah. In Raleigh, I'm Gervais Hagerty, Carolina Week.
Some say the sold-out rally energized North Carolina Republicans, but it wasn't enough. North Carolina went blue for the first time since 1976.
Even when the candidates weren't here themselves, plenty of big-name supporters were here trying to get out the vote. Ashley Wilkinson has that story.
It's the final stretch, and UNC Democrats are working hard. At Brocktoberfest, actress Ashley Judd and Joe Biden's sister, Valerie Biden Owens, encouraged young North Carolinians to get out and vote.
The world is watching North Carolina. This is a battleground state. You have the opportunity to turn it blue for the first time since, 1976?
Recent North Carolina polls indicate that Obama is still ahead of McCain, but not by much. Young Democrats hope to stretch that 1% margin by intensifying their efforts.
Trying to get as many votes as possible out, trying to get as many people to the polls because really it's tomorrow's the day.
Nationally, polls are indicating that Obama is ahead of McCain 51-44. In North Carolina, 2.5 million already voted. 55% of them were Democrats and 30% were Republicans.
So right now it's the best ground game that's going to win this state, and we're hoping that we're going to be out there getting every single vote that we need out there. And I think that we do have a better ground game than the McCain campaign does.
The efforts by North Carolina's young Democrats haven't gone unnoticed.
It's been tremendous. It's overwhelming. These kids are going to go out and they're going to make things happen. They're going to make history. This is a moment in history, and they don't want to be left behind on this one. Actually, they're leading us.
The Young Democrats' final push will be providing rides to voting locations on Election Day. In Chapel Hill, I'm Ashley Wilkinson, Carolina Week.
Obama won the election with 365 electoral votes versus McCain's 173. President-elect Obama has a lot of problems to try to fix, including the economy. Eric Ellington tells us the prospect of fewer jobs has more people opting for advanced education.
For many people, the next step after college is securing a steady job. Now, in a time of economic depression, college graduates could face a frightening future. UNC senior David Moltz has been job searching, and like many upcoming graduates, he's concerned about job security.
I interviewed with Facebook, and Facebook's a cool company, but I guess some of the downside is just not knowing the stability of where Facebook's going.
Economic uncertainty is causing companies to cut jobs. Many students enroll in graduate school now to hone their professional skills while the economy recovers. UNC graduate admissions are up by 10% this year compared to 2007. Members of the program's administration say the economy might be one element driving this change.
People want to improve their skills or delve into something that they're interested in, make themselves more marketable. The ability of new business startups, of existing business to be able to retool with new innovative techniques and processes, greater efficiencies for what they're doing. These are all benefits that graduate education provides to the state of North Carolina.
Graduate students share the classroom with David Moltz in the Keenan Flagler School of Business. Moltz won't attend grad school. He plans to work for IBM after he graduates in May.
It's a more stable path. It's a big corporation with almost 400,000 employees and just a lot of resources.
Graduate admissions counselors say some departments actually prefer that their applicants have work experience, so going straight from undergrad studies to graduate school doesn't always work.
Many people fear a pullback on charitable contributions. When people give, they want their money to have a maximum impact. Reporter Garrett Barosian tells us that isn't a problem here at Carolina.
Jonathan King is president and CEO of UNC's management company. He and 23 colleagues share the same visions. Those investment visions include maximize investment returns by diversifying the UNC portfolio, perform in the top quartile of university endowment funds, and distribute 5% of the $2.53 billion market value toward UNC's financial aid packages and professorships.
We do a lot of global traveling. We have had people in India, China, Russia, Brazil, all around the world in the last 6 months.
King and his staff meet with owners native to foreign countries who can provide personal insight about that country's stock market. Elizabeth Dunn is Senior Associate Vice Chancellor for University Development. She says donors continue to give to UNC, even in times like this.
This university is so successful in fundraising because it's a great university and its alumni love it. I'm a graduate of the institution. I know what people feel when they think about making a gift to this university.
There's no question in my mind that great stewardship, great investment performance really makes donors feel more comfortable here and give more money here.
In the 2007-2008 fiscal year, UNC investment return rates were 21 percentage points higher than the S&P 500, and nearly 10% higher than the returns on most colleges and university endowments. In the past 5 fiscal years, the return rates were 16%, 15.5%, 19.2%, 23.4%, and 8%. So whether it's Wall Street or UNC, solid money management skills are essential. In Chapel Hill, I'm Garrett Barosian, Carolina Week.
King says the key to UNC MC success is balancing risk through diversification. The economy is even affecting the family pet. Housing foreclosures are forcing many families to downsize. They're finding pet food and pet care are too much of a burden, so they're having to give up their animals. Kissa Craig has that story.
Say hello to Tess. She's one of hundreds of animals who are homeless and living in a shelter. Durham animal shelter worker Tammy Pombo says the economy's downturn is leading to a dramatic rise in the number of animals in the shelter.
About 70% of our animals that do come in are surrenders because they can't afford to take care of them.
But to some, giving up their own pets just isn't an option, regardless of the tough financial times.
No, I couldn't do it, and I know it's not easy for many people who do.
I couldn't, but I'm not one of those people who think that you should give up your animal because of the economy. I mean, don't let the economy, change somebody that's part of your life.
But Pombo says she's also feeling the financial strain.
Yeah, I mean, I have 3 dogs and 4 cats. It's even hard for me to be able to afford it.
A 10% increase in the number of animals has filled the shelter to its capacity and forcing shelter workers to make hard decisions. Although the odds are stacked against them, these dogs wag their tails at visitors as if trying to send a message. A few lucky ones get adopted, but Tess and her friends spend their days playing, sleeping, and waiting.
When you rescue an animal from a shelter, you're saving that animal's life and you're making space for another animal to be able to move into that cage until it can find a home also.
And that, he says, is his #1 mission. In Durham, I'm Kissa Craig, Carolina Week.
The shelter takes in more than 7,000 animals each year. Finding homes for Tess and others remains the shelter's main mission. Jason, I'm wondering, how would you feel if there was a landfill in your backyard?
Well, Carly, that doesn't sound too comforting. Coming up, we'll show you a group that's had to deal with that stinky situation for years.
Pants, pants, pants. I am folding the pants. The pants are long. Do they go on my head? Do they? Do the pants go on my head? No, they go on.
Everyday moments can become teaching moments because learning starts long before school does. Give your child the start they need at bornlearning.org.
Honey, the credit fairy doesn't exist.
What?
It's make-believe. Nobody left anything under your pillow.
If there's no credit fairy, then we'll make our credit score go up.
We will, by doing things like paying our bills on time.
There's no magic to improving your credit, but there's help, and it's free. Go to creditfairy.org.
What?
When you open a book, you can explore new lands, make new friends, and discover new adventures. There are amazing possibilities when you open your mind to reading. Explore new worlds. Read.
We throw stuff away every day, not thinking twice where it goes. But what if the local landfill was just beyond your backyard? Hillary Schrantz investigates what it's like for a community living beside the active part of the landfill.
Last year, 86,000 tons of garbage went into the landfill, a foul reality for the Rogers Road community. Fifth-generation Rogers descendant Niloa Jones' property line rests roughly 150 feet from the landfill.
We hesitate to have people come over for outdoor events because we can never be sure of whether the stench, so you can't make plans, okay, you can't make plans.
But where exactly does this smell come from?
I'm standing on the active part of the landfill, only 2 feet above the waste. But the main concern isn't where I'm standing, it's the adjacent community, only a 1/4 of a mile away.
Solid Waste Management Director Gail Wilson realizes the inconveniences imposed on nearby residents, so he does all he can to keep the odor and the buzzards to a minimum.
We pick up litter on Eubanks Road 3 times a week. I've had many comments that say Eubanks Road is the cleanest road in the county.
Despite regular upkeep and speedy actions taken by Solid Waste Management to clean up illegal dumping within the community, Rogers Road resident Reverend Robert Campbell says the landfill negatively affects each resident's quality of life.
What can we say good about the landfill? In regards to this neighborhood, not very much.
Unlike Campbell, it seems Jones understands that the landfill has to go somewhere, but she says there's a more responsible way to manage the garbage.
Because right now, it's my community that has been affected for 36 years, but it's always going to be somebody's community.
No one knows which community will house our trash next. In Chapel Hill, I'm Hillary Schrantz, Carolina Week.
We can all work to make a difference for Rogers Road community by recycling rather than tossing everything into the garbage. Nadine Mazer tells us that other Orange County residents are facing similar problems.
Orange County residents filled McDougal Elementary School's cafeteria in an effort to get their voices heard. Nearly 100 residents signed up to speak before the Board of County Commissioners about the proposed waste transfer station. One resident wasn't sure how the meeting would go.
What I know is that it's better to be heard than not.
But the diverse community came to a consensus: reconsider the waste station. Residents from Chapel Hill, Carrboro, Durham, and even the mayor of Hillsborough came to present their thoughts within a 3-minute time limit. Barry Jacobs felt the discussion was beneficial.
I think
it's good to re-examine your assumptions.
Consultants presented waste transfer graphics and data. They hope that presenting the need for the facility and site search process would ease concerns. Yet residents asked that the decision about selecting the site for a new trash transfer station be delayed for at least 90 days.
I don't see why 90 days is a magic period of time.
Jacobs explained that time is precious. The landfill is expected to reach capacity by 2011, and the county has 125,000 people to serve. But residents think the transfer station isn't the solution either. Many said it's like the county is putting a toilet seat in the middle of their living room. Jacobs begs to differ.
It's not a landfill, it's not a cesspool, it's a building. It's a building that you wouldn't want to live next to, that is true, but it's not a toilet.
In Chapel Hill, I'm Nadine Mazer, Carolina Week.
Orange County residents are waiting until the Board of County Commissioners holds its meeting on December 11th, and even then, they might not have their answer.
Going green is becoming somewhat of a catchphrase. I took a trip to Pickard's Mountain, where the residents are taking that catchphrase beyond recycling. Welcome to Carborough's heartland, Pickard's Mountain. It's an ecological learning farm complete with solar panels, a lush garden, and friendly animals. The fresh smell of the earth is intoxicating.
People were very interested in being out here, that there was something sort of magical about the land that drew people.
Megan Tobin is the community manager at Pickard's Mountain. 15 people currently live here. Tobin says this sustainable farm helps those people and her own family.
We realized that there are going to have to be new models for growing food and for producing energy and for really being in community together.
The new models aren't so new, but the difference at Pickard's Mountain is that the people aren't just talking about going green, they're living those words. This windmill and these solar panels provide renewable energy for the garden and power the homes. Copper wires and the sun provide hot water year-round.
Pickard's Mountain is an ecological learning farm, which means that pigs, just like Francis, are part of a real family before they get hauled off for breakfast bacon.
Some of the best days at the farm come when school groups or parents and their children come up to visit.
There is an element of surprise at how in love children are with the natural world. And when you really allow them the time and space for that, they really show it. Thank you so much.
And they share it.
Well, that looks like a really cool place to be, Carly.
It really was. But you know what? I think Chapel Hill was a really cool place to be, especially for sports. And sportscaster Walter Storholt is here with some highlights from this semester.
Yeah, guys, it was so much fun this semester. A lot of things to look at and enjoy, all the way from the football team to the basketball team, but also some interesting stories off the field. Coming up in sports, we'll introduce you to the Ram, who's king at Carolina.
It's easy to tell if you've had way too many. But what if you've had just one too many? Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Let's go, man.
Hello, ladies.
Can you imagine your life without animals? Here at the Durham Animal Shelter, we can't. So come see us. Your new best friend is already expecting you.
Let's give it a shot. You can do it this time. I gotta get a real dog.
Awaken your creativity. Do your thing at the Art School at the Art Center in Carborough.
We all know who Ramesses is, but did you know that there's a new king this year? The death of his father, Ramesses XVII, this summer left some pretty big shoes to fill. Sarah Moore shows us how Ramesses XVIII gets geared up for a game.
Rob Hogan is a fourth-generation ram keeper. For 84 years and 18 rams, this beloved mascot has lived on the Hogan's family farm.
But it's a long tradition. We don't want to stop. We enjoy it.
The Hogans provide a comfortable life for Ramesses with the 2-acre shady pasture for his grazing pleasure.
They live a good life. They got 6 to 7 games a year to go to, and other than that, maybe a Christmas parade in Chapel Hill. But other than that, they just hang out.
Before each game, Hogan and his family must bathe Ramesses, then repaint his horns. I even got to give it a try. But not everyone realizes that the horns are painted blue.
Yeah, one asked me one time if he was born with his horns blue. This man was standing right over there and heard that. He said, ouch.
After the horns are ready and the fur is clean, it's time for Ramesses to get dressed in his one-of-a-kind blanket. You can tell he really enjoys it. The final touch is his harness.
His granddad died, and his dad went in as a really young ram mid-season. Look at this hole right here I had to punch.
Finally, Ramesses is ready to head to Tar Heel Town. The Hogans just have to get him in the truck first. At the game, Ramesses is a star, and the new king seems to be enjoying his newfound fame. In Chapel Hill, I'm Sarah Moore, Carolina Week.
Hogan hopes that one day one of his 3 sons will carry on the family tradition as a 5th-generation ram keeper. And it was a regular season with more ups than downs for the football team, and it could have been a season one Tar Heel didn't get to be a part of. C.J. Shaw gives us a look at the struggles and triumphs of defensive end Robert Quinn.
Freshman defensive end Robert Quinn is one of several underclassmen leading the resurgence of Tar Heel football. Before coming to Carolina, Quinn was one of the top high school recruits in the country at Fort Dorchester High in North Charleston, South Carolina. In the fall of his senior year, Quinn began to notice that he wasn't feeling like himself.
I woke up to go use the bathroom, and I blacked out in my room. And I just figured I got lightheaded for a second, so I got back up and walked back into the walking into the bathroom. I blacked out again. I remember my dad running in there, patting me on my face, waking me up.
Quinn's parents took him to the hospital where doctors discovered a tumor in his brain that required emergency surgery. Although the tumor was benign, doctors told Quinn his football career was most likely over. Needless to say, Quinn was crushed.
I was in tears. I asked my mom, asked her why me, why not someone else.
However, Quinn recovered from surgery better than anyone could have expected. After a short recovery period, the doctor said Quinn would be able to resume normal physical activity. Just 4 months after surgery, Quinn won his 3rd straight state title in wrestling. Now, Quinn is back on the football field and happy about the contributions he's making to the team.
I'm just excited, just to be out there playing again, and now we're winning now. So it's just very exciting seeing the crowd getting louder and bigger every time.
Although he's glad to be healthy again, Quinn says his situation taught him some very important life lessons.
Just don't take anything for granted, because you never know when it could be, whatever it is, could be taken from you.
In Chapel Hill, I'm C.J. Shaw, Carolina Week Sports.
Quinn is a finalist for the FedEx Orange Bowl Courage Award. We'll know who the winner is in late December. Guys, so many good stories this past semester, and we'll be looking forward to a lot more coming up in the spring.
Yeah, and hopefully we have truly a good storybook ending at the end of this year.
Oh, absolutely, for basketball and all the sports we're involved in.
Thank you so much, Walter. What do you get when you mix a bunch of ropes with some of the best athletes in our area?
Well, Carly, that's easy. A brilliant bunch of bouncing bulldogs. We'll tell you what they've been up to next.
And I made suction tires. Wait, what? Wait, I used a rivet gun to connect the suction cups, and then I just connected it to the tire. I got the idea from an octopus because of the suction cups, and I don't know.
Anything's possible. Keep thinking. Get started on your invention at inventnow.org.
I won't get fat when I get old. I won't get fat when I get old.
what a 10% weight loss can do for you.
If you have a story idea, contact Carolina Week at 843-8292. You can also visit us online at carolinaweek.org. If you have questions about this program, write Carolina Week at Campus Box 3365, UNCCH, Chapel Hill, North Carolina, 27599.
Let's see, didn't get your fill of turkey during the Thanksgiving break? Sarah LaTrent has your second helping.
The Hillsborough community geared up for Thanksgiving with its 13th annual Turkey Bowl on Sunday. Turkey bowling is, as you might expect, bowling with frozen turkeys instead of bowling balls. But wait a second, those don't look like frozen turkeys.
Well, we actually have a community of people here that are sensitive towards animal rights, and we want to protect their beliefs as much as anyone else's. So we don't bowl with the turkey anymore. We actually use a medicine ball from the weight room.
Some Orange County residents cried foul, but the change of the rolling object didn't stop the contestants from trying their luck at knocking down the pins. Some players even coordinated their outfits. The event looked like so much fun, I thought, why not give it a try?
All right, here I go. Well, on second thought, I think I'll leave sliding on the ice to the medicine balls, and I don't want to show up the kids with my mad bowling skills.
If a player bowls a strike, he or she gets, well, you guessed it, a frozen turkey.
Now you don't have to get a turkey from the store because you want one. So there you go.
Rolling turkey or no rolling turkey, it definitely wasn't as easy as one might think. Now that's what I call a gutter bird. In Hillsborough, I'm Sarah LaTrent, Carolina Week.
All right, well, I got to be honest. Usually I don't win a turkey and wind up with the food tab as the lowest scorer on the night. Oh, well.
Between the football team, women's soccer, both basketball teams, all of them are doing very well. But when it comes to international fame, those athletes have nothing on these that you're about to meet. Our Bethany Tuggle followed them halfway around the world.
Meet the Bouncing Bulldogs. This 5-time national champion jump rope team is proof that rope skipping isn't a simple schoolyard game anymore. It's a sport. They can flip, they can tumble, and man, can they jump. Timothy Martin has been on the team since he was 4 years old. He says one of his favorite parts is being able to teach the younger kids what being a bulldog is all about.
I just absolutely love working with kids, seeing the smile on their faces when we jump and when we teach them, and just knowing that we're making a difference in their life.
After seeing all the fun the team was having, I thought I'd try it too.
Maybe old school jump roping is more my thing, but add any stunts and tricks? You must be tripping.
Mary Benton knows it takes more than a few tries to master the skills. She's been jumping for 10 years and has come to love not only her sport, but the people she does it with as well.
Our team's a lot more like a family than most sport teams that I've ever been involved with. You know, our coach is like our second dad, and like the older kids really did a good job of raising us and teaching us everything we know. And
the Bulldogs have taken many trips around the world together and were even able to hop on over to Beijing this summer.
It was especially cool to be there when the Olympics were there. I think that's a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
Martin also enjoyed his experience in China and the opportunity to learn from the people he met.
And to take a part of their culture and to fuse it with ours, you know, to make ours even better. It was the best part.
No matter where they go, the members of this team have determination and a love for their sport.
Ready, set, go.
They're an inspiration to the crowds of people who gather to watch them in amazement as they become a part of the extended Bulldog family. In Chapel Hill, I'm Bethany Tuggle, Carolina Week.
Well, from that package, as you can see, one thing we can say is we have some pretty athletic reporters here at Carolina Week.
And boy, can she jump, boy, can they jump.
Yeah.
And we're going to bounce right on at it here. Thanks for watching this special edition of Carolina Week.
Have a great winter break, everyone. We'll see you in January. Good night.